Connor Onion and Kelly Burke here previewing this week's Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week. We've got the Drake Bulldogs at the Bradley Braves, 6:30 Central Time on ESPN+. We've got the Bulldogs head coach, Allison Pohlman, Braves head coach, Andrea Gorski with us. And coaches, this, of course, is a rematch of last year's championship game. Last time we were doing this was at Hoops in the Heartland. So let's start with the Bradley perspective on that. Coach Gorski, first thing that comes to mind from you about that day at the title game.
That seems like a lifetime ago, since that game to now. It's just, yeah. So, obviously a different team for us in terms of who we returned from that game, a much different looking team and much younger team. And, but I know our team always loves the games against Drake because we have a lot of Iowa kids on our team as well. So I know they always look forward to it. And there's always good fan turnout for the game. And it's just always circled on our calendar because they're friends with a lot of Drake players. So it's always a spirited battle.
And Coach Pohlman, obviously a lot has changed for you since then. You've slid over a seat. What were you most looking forward to when you got this job?
Well, I guess just continuing to stay in the Valley, continuing to stay in the state of Iowa, more than anything. I've been kind of one of those lucky coaches who, grew up here and then was, just having the privilege to be able to stay. And as anybody can speak in this business, it's pretty uncommon to be able to not have to move, what feels like constantly or every 4 years or something of that nature. So I feel pretty blessed to be able to stay, and in the Missouri Valley Conference, which is, we're changing a little bit, a couple different new faces that are going to get involved. And, I think it's just, I love the Missouri Valley Conference. I mean, it's gritty. It's tenacious. You got a lot of good teams, and on any given night, you got to be ready to go. So just excited clearly to move over. It's been, I love how people call it slide or shift or whatever else. And, Andrea could probably answer this question next. Not that I'm in charge of the questions, but sometimes it's kind of bumpy. The move over is not necessarily a slide or any sort of dance move. It's definitely, it has its bumps, but it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride thus far.
Speaking of bumpy, Connor and I would be remiss if we didn't mention, you both have faced adversity this season, especially to start conference play with some key missing players. And Bradley, obviously, Gabby Hawk, really unfortunate first game of conference play. She goes down with a season-ending injury. For Drake, your point guard, Maddie Peterson, she's out right now with a hand injury and has missed the last 2 games. And Coach Gorski, let's start with you. Just what growth have you seen in your team as a result of those key missing pieces, in your case, Gabby Hawk?
Well, actually, we've seen quite a bit of growth here in the last few weeks. And you look back at our first game without Gabby, we were playing at Evansville. We lose by a point. And I watched that game and then watch us play this weekend. I thought pretty competitive against Missouri State and SIU. And we are making some progress. It's just not showing up correctly on the stat sheet yet. So, but it's just really taking one drill at a time, one practice at a time. Who's going to be our go-to scorer? I mean, I think that's something that, when the game is tight, where there's this uncertainty, and just trying to get our team to play with some swag. I mean, our coaches are doing a great job talking trash at practice and just trying to get them, and we're having fun with it though, and I love this team. They're resilient. They just want to keep getting better. They're very coachable. They want to please. Everything you could want in a young team. We are very young, and but yeah, just trying to get them to, to have a little more swag and a little more confidence out there, especially in crunch time. But, yes, definitely have seen a lot of growth just over the past 2 weeks. And we just keep talking about eventually it's going to pay off. Just stick to it. But I have no doubt that they will. Like I said, I feel really good about them and the progress and their mentality. And that helps that our culture strong. Our seniors, Tatum, has been around a while, and so she understands what it takes, and she's doing a great job of just keeping us on task and not getting too down.
Tatum, certainly one of the rocks of your team. Coach Pohlman, you were able over the weekend to big win over UNI, one of your main rivals, and able to snap a 4-game losing streak. And so how has your squad made that adjustment without, sort of the quarterback of your team being able to go the last 2 games?
Yeah, well, I probably am going to sound a little bit like I'm going to take credit for being a good coach, because if I'm following Coach Gorski and saying kind of the same thing, but you don't really get experience until you're in it, and you don't get experience until like you step on the floor. And so it has been really unique for this squad to play without Maddie. Yes, she's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal, I think, leader and teacher. She's like that steady voice when you need something to be said in a huddle. And so not having that, it just lends for opportunity for other players to find their voice, to find their, I guess, niche more than anything, of having to step up in some moments. And so I know that the experience will pay dividends, eventually, like as you kind of watch these teams, get a little bit more confidence and play a little bit better in practices and understand, I don't really like the word role, but they just understand that it's their moment to be able to step up. And so that's been it's sometimes, as you mentioned, kind of the 4-game losing streak, it gets hard. It gets hard to have to learn lessons while losing. And it's just one of those things, though, you just got to try to stay as resilient as possible. And we do miss Maddie, and we're hopeful, that we'll get her back here eventually. But we're trying to just stay positive in the moment with getting some experience for some players who may not have had the opportunity to have that experience.
Yeah, I might add too. It's weird to say Maddie Peterson. She went and got married on us, and so it's just weird to see it on the stat sheet.
Strangest thing. So I had to send a message in our group text or whatever else. I was like, please pass this along to your parents, families, husbands. So that was unique. I've never had to do that before, but it was, yeah.
Well, just looking at this game specifically, Coach Gorski, for you, Drake has the reputation of, being one of the top scoring offenses in the MVC for several years running. What challenges do they present in trying to defend them?
Yeah, one transition. I think they're the top transition team in our conference. And so trying to slow them down there, you always have to, be ready to put your track shoes on when you play Drake. And so we'll hopefully have our track shoes on. And that's first and foremost. And then just, the way they move the ball on offense. And I just think that they're playing much better now. I think their timing is a lot better, and they're starting to kind of understand how to play with each other. I've just noticed such a huge improvement in their team over, from 2 weeks ago even to now. So just trying to, understand that we got to play at a very fast pace, and especially on the defensive end. So, but like I said, our team is always kind of gets up for this game, and just having so many connections with AAU teams and former teammates. And again, I know that we're going to continue to have a good week of practice and be really excited for Thursday.
Coach Pohlman, Bradley shooting it well from outside. What do you see there from their offense that presents some challenges in this one?
Well, I mean, definitely. And, like, that's the thing you talk about, Tatum and you got Caroline. I mean, you've got Abby Draper, who's beginning to shoot it a little bit better. And so, they do have multiple weapons, and it's just one of those things where, when confidence strikes you at the right time, then you're able to put the ball in the hole. And so we've got to be ready. We got to be ready with our hands high. We've got to be ready to defend Bradley. It's one of those things where they've always given us a really, really good game. And I love how Coach Gorski, kind of alludes to the fact, we've got 2 high school teammates who are in their freshman, season, Caroline Wade and Ashley Iams, who I think they continue to FaceTime and talk daily. And so it's really, it's just cool when you have those connections of where these players, they know that they're 100% in the right place, and yet they can still cheer for, those like tenured friendships. And so it is, I love some of the stories, you got Tatum and Allie Woolridge who played AAU basketball together as well. And so it's neat to watch them have success on the floor, and then also know that they have those relationships beyond basketball. So it'll be a lot of fun. Excited to be in Peoria on Thursday night.
Yeah, so much crossover. Yeah.
In closing, Connor and I obviously were super excited about the matchup Thursday night. Looking forward to seeing you both. And Coach Gorski, I know I can speak, and I'm sure Coach Pohlman would agree with this, and Connor as well. You guys have had a brutal stretch of games on the road. 10 of your last 13 games have been on the road, including the last 5 of 7 Valley games. So you're finally home here for 4 straight, and I'm sure that's a welcome sight for you to be able to sleep in your own bed more than anything.
Definitely much needed. And again, it's a resilient group. They never complain about anything. They just lets us go. And it's just how it's kind of been this season for us. Even we had several non-conference home games canceled, and it's just it is what it is. And but yeah, we're excited to play in front of our home fans. And there's even though we've been losing, there's still that great buzz with our fan base. And we just want to put on a good show for the home fans this weekend.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you Thursday. It's a 6:30 p.m. tip-off on the ESPN network of apps. So thank you for taking the time with us today to preview the matchup.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See you Thursday.